I get asked about my beard constantly. How long have you been growing that? How did you do that? Most people assume one of two things. Either it just happened, or I planned every detail from day one. Neither is true. This beard is one of the longest projects that I've ever managed. And without realizing it, it's followed almost every project management pattern that I've ever seen. If you ever worked on a project that started simple, then got uncomfortable, then awkward, and almost died in the middle, this is that story. You don't start growing a beard by saying, I won't shave today. That's a task. You start with an outcome, a length, a look, an identity. In project terms, that's the difference between we'll work on this every sprint and here's what success looks like 6 months from now. Projects fail when they start with activity instead of intent. Because when you don't know why you're doing something, every obstacle feels like a reason to stop. For me, the vision was freedom. In food service or forensic environments, being clean-shaven was not optional. So with thick, coarse stubble, shaving every day was something I just had to accept. After that chapter in my life, the project goal wasn't to just grow a beard. The goal was eliminating that friction. And that's how you know the outcome matters. So you stop shaving and immediately discovery begins. Your beard doesn't grow evenly. It curls where you didn't expect. Maybe it grows higher on one cheek and then lower on the other. This is assumption testing. In projects, we think we know timelines, dependencies, effort, constraints, until execution proves otherwise. Discovery isn't about being wrong. It's about learning fast enough to adjust. When your beard forks or curls, you don't cancel the project. You update your understanding on how the system behaves. Good project managers don't protect the original plan. They protect the outcome. But then the itch hits. Your skin dries out, your face gets a little irritated, but visually it still looks like nothing's really happening. This is early execution. This is the phase where the effort is real, but the value hasn't quite surfaced yet. In projects, this is when your stakeholders will question your ROI, the teams feel overworked, the leaders wonder if this was a mistake, but nothing is broken. You just haven't crossed that visibility threshold. The mistake here is interpreting the discomfort as failure. You haven't failed, you just haven't earned the momentum. Discomfort isn't a signal to stop. It's a signal that execution has begun. Most projects don't fail here. They get terminated before momentum has had time to compound. They're abandoned. You start asking yourself, is this how far I go? And this is where feedback, problem solving, and adjustment matter the most. Because this is where belief gets tested. But then comes the worst part, the awkward length. Too long to ignore, but too short to look intentional. People will start asking you questions. Are you going to keep that? What's the plan here? And projects enter this phase too. This is the messy middle of the project, where progress exists, value isn't obvious yet, and confidence matters more than speed. This is where governance earns its keep. Not heavy process, but clear decision making. This is when a project needs a reaffirmed objective, clear success criteria, and leadership that doesn't flinch. Projects don't collapse here because they're too complex. They collapse because belief erodes. And here's the critical lesson. You don't just let your beard grow. You manage it. You trim, you adjust, you experiment, oil, combs, different routines. Mustache in your mouth? Trim it. Now it's too short? Let it grow in the next cycle. Neckline's off? Adjust it. This is iterative control. You're not restarting the project. You're not abandoning the vision. You're responding to feedback. Iteration isn't fixing failure. Iteration is how vision survives contact with reality. Projects that refuse to adapt in the name of the original plan don't stay disciplined. They stall. Now at some point something changes. It stops being a beard and it becomes your beard. Without realizing it, you learn how it grows and how it doesn't. You stop fighting with it and start working with it. You begin to see the full picture. You stop thinking about it constantly. Maintenance becomes routine. This is adoption. In projects, this is when success becomes invisible because it's integrated. They don't just deliver outputs. They change behavior. They reshape identity. The goal was never length. The goal was consistency. Projects succeed when they stop feeling like projects. Here's the final lesson. Once you reach the end, shaving your beard is not the success. Maintaining it is. In project terms, successful closure isn't final sign-off, final report, final meetings. Closure is when value continues without heroic effort. If your beard only looks good on launch day, your project failed. Real success is what still exists after the attention has moved on. Through the progress and the iteration, you discover a lifestyle. And when you look in the mirror, what you see is simply you. This beard taught me patience, respect for time, and trust in slow compounding progress. So if you're managing something long, something quiet, something uncomfortable, don't judge it too early. Most meaningful projects look awkward before they look impressive. You're not behind. You're in the phase that most people quit. And if you're in the middle right now, good. That's where real project management actually happens.